like to read manhwa, mostly mainstream historical fantasy romance, things like Who Made Me a Princess, The Villainess Turns the Hourglass. But every once in a while, I like to read something that's a little more wild to expand the horizons, so to speak. Things like The Crimson Lady, Depths of Malice, both of which really shocked me when I read them for the first time. So I was browsing some manhwa communities and I've stumbled across a manhwa called Lady Devil or The Devil. And every time it would come up, people who read it would unanimously say how fucked up it is. So I thought, okay, it's probably something like The Crimson Lady. Let me give it a try. And girl, was I wrong. It's on a whole different level. Reading this manga made me realize that things like The Crimson Lady and Depths of Malice are still very much fall within the genre of historical fantasy romance, maybe just slightly on the slightly more extreme outskirts of it, while Lady Devil it's a whole different thing. Now, if you read a wide variety of genres, a lot of tragedies, psychology, or whatever the Lady Devil is, I don't know. If you read a lot of different things, then maybe for you it's not going to be as shocking. But for me, because I don't read that much different stuff, for me it was pretty shocking. Now, unfortunately, I don't have enough brain cells to give a full comprehensive review of this manhwa, so what I'll do instead is list one thing that each of the main characters has done that I thought was really fucked up. So of course, this is going to include a lot of spoilers. So if you're planning to read this manga and want to avoid spoilers, then this video is not for you. If you do not want to read it, but just want to see what it's about, or on the contrary, if you are considering reading it, but just want to check if it's fucked up enough for you to even consider reading it, then this video is for you. And so we'll start with the female lead. The female lead, her name is Annette, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. She is romantically in love with her twin brother. But wait, it gets worse. So she kissed him on the lips when they were around 6 years old. And this is just to warm you up. This is one of the more benign things on this list. Next, the male lead. Female lead's twin brother, he, on his sister's wedding night with some noble, he came and sent her husband to the afterworld. And then he ripped out his heart and handed it to his sister. Next, mother of the two, the Duchess. She, when John was around 6 years of age, tried cutting off, she didn't try, she cut off his hand with a dagger. Next, the father. The father wanted to teach his son a lesson when John came over to his father and told him that he did something that is wrong, but Annette was being punished instead of him. He wanted his father to do something about it. He was like, hey, can you punish me instead, because I was the one in the wrong. And so his father wanted to teach him a lesson that a person in power, a person who holds a title, is never wrong, is never in the wrong. So he called over one of his servants and sent him to the afterworld in a pretty brutal manner. And then he turned to his son and said, see, I just did this and nobody said anything to me. That is because I hold power in this estate and no one can say anything to me. So I'm never guilty of anything, and you as my heir are never in the wrong either. Next, Winfred. Winfred is the youngest child in the family. And what he's done is, after he reached a certain age, he started f***ing his nanny, who raised him since he was born and viewed him as her son. And finally, the nanny. She, if I understood correctly, she sent one of the Duchess's kids, the youngest one, to the afterworld after they were born, but maybe she didn't. I think she did, maybe she didn't, but even if she did, she is one of the more sane characters in this story. It's worth mentioning that the author doesn't justify any of these actions, so it was still pretty interesting to read, even though it was a little unsettling. If the author tried to justify any of these actions, then I'm not sure if I would like the story as much as I did. I'm not even sure if I liked it. I'm not sure if I can recommend it. So I just made this video to give you a taste, so to speak, and now it's up to you to decide whether you want to read it or not. Thank you for watching.